Pain Hustlers is a 2023 film directed by David Yates. This is written by Wells Tower, based on the book by Evan Hughes, and we have a cast including Emily Blunt, Chris Evans, Catherine O'Hara, Andy García, Chloe Coleman. Obviously, we have a great cast here. And the narrative sounded interesting, and I didn't dislike it, but there were definitely times when I thought it was just a little bit boring. Our protagonist has to get a job working for a pharmaceutical company, and they're trying to make her push this particular drug, and it's not very honest, and it feels kind of uncomfortable. Not a problem with the film. I think that actually that's a really good thing, because as we see this behaviour, it feels really awkward, and if it felt natural and acceptable, I think that it in itself would be a bit of a problem. And things start to get dangerous and criminal. And I'll say no more than that. As a concept, I think it's a good idea. I think it's raising awareness of a really important topic. I will say that if I were in the States or perhaps another country where the patient actually gets control over, or some degree of control over what medication they want, I might have felt differently. But in the UK, we don't get to ask for specific medications. We don't really get a choice in what we get. Yes, we can ask doctors about it, but we don't have those adverts that say, ask your doctor about such and such medication. We don't really have that freedom, whereas in the States, patients seem to have a greater freedom of asking their doctor if they can try this or that drug. I guess largely because money is at the heart of it. And of course, this is definitely something we see with pain hustlers, with people trying to push this medication and obviously getting money out of it. And I think it's a very dark subject. And I think in general, they did a good job of raising this awareness and really addressing this topic. But that doesn't mean that I found everything about this interesting. There are quite a few aspects of this narrative, just events within the story, that I found to be kind of boring, not really very interesting. Most of the characters are quite dull. The only characters I really liked, well, I liked the daughter. I liked Phoebe, played by Chloe Coleman. I thought she was a likeable character. I wouldn't necessarily say I disliked any of the other characters, but I certainly didn't really care for them. So the narrative was okay some of the time. The characters were okay most of the time. The performances were very good. It's very well filmed. There's one moment where I felt really sick, actually, because we're coming up full speed ahead behind this car, and the camera work is amazing. It's such a brief moment, but the camera zooms up towards this car, and I genuinely felt like we were going to crash into it. I don't drive because largely I have that fear of crashing into things, but it was a bit bizarre, but I rather liked it. So we do have some decent camera work, well edited, great performances, well enough written characters. I just don't necessarily care for a lot of them. The narrative is interesting. I'd say probably half of the time, and half of the time not so much. So in general, I'd say Pain Hustlers is a decent enough film. I didn't love every aspect of it, but I don't mind the time I spent watching it. And at the end of the day, I think it's addressing a really important topic, which is, of course, the big takeaway from this. So I'm happy to recommend it. I wouldn't watch it again, but as a one-time watch, I thought Pain Hustlers was not too bad. And if it sounds like it might appeal to you, then I'd say it might be worth watching.